are such an inspiration to me and to animal chiropractic and to our graduates and those doctors who, so what we see oftentimes are veterinarians, and as veterinarians I can pretty much do anything that I deem as a treatment to an animal, and as long as I don't harm the animal or kill it or severely damage the owner, I can get away with it in most jurisdictions. That said, animal chiropractic is, for all intents and purposes, it's new to veterinary medicine. And what that means is that veterinarians have this idea that they are there to protect all animals from anybody else doing something they shouldn't. But that doesn't mean that they themselves might not have choices that don't necessarily harm animals. And so I've heard in the news there are these MDs who are out there protesting against the confirmation of Robert Kennedy Jr. for the head of the Human Health, HHS. And they don't want him because, first of all, I wouldn't want him either if they were going to confirm someone who might take away my income. And if for every, let's say this, if for every dog that came into my clinic, if I convinced the owner that vaccinating them for something that's like lepto, so lepto is a very controversial vaccine in dogs. The vaccine can cause damage to the dog. It can cause problems for the owner because the dog will then shed lepto and the owner can actually get it from the dog. There are all kinds of things that happen with that vaccine. And so many veterinarians hold off. They choose not to use lepto vaccines in their clinic, in their population. I applaud them because they're smart and they're not thinking about statistically, because statistics do not matter if you are the one out of 1,000 or 100 who have that problem. That said, all of these doctors, so back to my lepto, so what if the lepto vaccine manufacturer was giving me, the veterinarian, $10,000 for every dog I vaccinated with lepto? That's never happened in animal vaccines, but we know that it's happened in human vaccines. In other words, in order to convince doctors that it's helpful to their patients, they get a reward. And sometimes when you're teaching your kid to eat broccoli, you have to give them a reward after they've eaten the broccoli of something they like. So you might give them chocolate. Here, eat this broccoli, and then you'll get a piece of chocolate. Well, rational thinking, scientifically minded doctors are oftentimes convinced that doing something that they know might not be the best, in the best interest of their patients, they can do it if they're getting a reward afterwards. Just like training your kid to eat broccoli. So that said, I want you to realize chiropractic is probably one of the best ways, we have an alert, one of the best ways to help those animals thrive and survive and get through any injury, illness, problem. Not everyone. Some poisons, we can't get there fast enough. The body doesn't have enough time because there are 3 parts to an animal chiropractic adjustment. There is making sure you've got stability so that the adjustment is quick, the line of correction that makes the adjustment effective, and time for the animal to then do its part. And the time for that animal to do its part sometimes is the longest part. And that is really important for our animal patients. If you're a veterinarian who, gosh darn, you wish you'd get paid $10,000 every time you gave a lepto vaccine, then you'd sure give it. But if that's not the case, if you're the kind of animal chiropractic fan who wants more of your patients to be healthy and stronger and be able to solve the environmental things that are causing them illnesses, find us today at animalchiropracticeducation.com so they can do their job and get better. Thanks for joining me. Join me for Intro to Animal Chiropractic Wednesday, February 12th. It costs you nothing but time, 90 minutes. Spend a little bit of time seeing how an animal chiropractic practice can help you solve many of those patient problems.